Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this Monday, the 7th of July, 2023. No, wait, it's July 10th? Oh, sorry, it's the 10th. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you guys here. The first thing I want to talk about is what in the heck's the Federal Reserve doing? And why didn't these markets crash? They've been raising interest rates really fast, putting an unfair burden on the economy. Banks are not lending out. There's a liquidity shortage out there. It's the M2 money supply is drying up. Everything is in position where the market should have crashed maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. Didn't happen. Well, what I've learned is probably the reason why is what they've done with the banks. The cash injections, direct cash injections into the banking system. And in what form is it taken? Well, do you remember the problem with a lot of the biggest problem with these banks is it bought treasuries and stuff, and the treasuries had diminished in their value. They're only worth about 80 cents on the dollar, maybe 70 or even 60 cents on the dollar. This left the banks short in their investments. Well, the Fed's been buying them up at $1 on the dollar to the banks and giving them cash. So they buy these treasuries from the banks, and they give them the cash for the treasuries. So where does that cash come from? They create it. So in essence, they're directly injecting cash into the system. Perhaps this has been one of the factors and the reasons why we haven't seen a drop in equities. And what else have they been doing? Well, right here, the Federal Reserve rides to the rescue. Federal Treasury and FDIC agreed Sunday that the banking wobble unfolded over the past few days has reached systematic level. This was the Silicon Valley Bank failure. And the Federal Deposit Insurance Fund will guarantee insured and uninsured depositors. They're going to guarantee everybody, even if you're over $250,000 in the bank. The FDIC, not only are they going to guarantee everybody, but they're also injecting the money through this discount window. The BTFP discount window. They injected $400 billion into the system. So there is injections of liquidity going on, massive injections of liquidity right now, and it's changed the complexion slightly, but we still have inflation. Inflation's moved down to a little bit over 4% now at this point, from a little bit over 8%. And this fight against inflation ultimately is going to lead to foreclosures, bankruptcies, banks drying up liquidity in the system by not lending out. There's an awful lot of discrepancies in the system right now that's going to come to a head. All this is going to come to a head. They haven't really stopped inflation yet, especially food price inflation. Now, looking at a few of these problems here, and now this, I'm not going to get dragged into the political aspect of this. I can say that it's very difficult to remain politically neutral in this environment. Watching a country that I adore absolutely be destroyed. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. But I'm not going to get drawn into this. But the reason why I went to this article here is to point out about China here and what's going on with some of these aspects that are happening in China. A trade war between China and the United States over the future of semiconductors is escalating. So, I mean, what does all that mean? Well, believe me when I tell you that this trade war's been going on for quite a while. And now it's moved into the future of semiconductors, which is the future of technology. And it says Beijing hit back Monday by playing a trump card It imposed export controls on 2 strategic new raw materials, gallium and germanium, that are critical to the global chip-making industry. We see this as China's second and much bigger countermeasure to the tech war, and likely a response to the potential U.S. tightening of its AI chip ban. It goes on to talk here. It says a military conflict over Taiwan would set the global economy back decades because of the crippling disruption to the supply chain of crucial semiconductors, according to the head of one of the island's leading makers of microchips. Taiwan is a self-ruling democracy about 100 miles off China. It makes it the world's most advanced microchips. The brains inside every piece of technology, from smartphones to modern cars and artificial intelligence and fighter jets. They go on to say, we simply cannot afford for such a war to happen. Well, it's heating up toward that. Toward a war in the Pacific. It's heating up toward that right now. That's the direction we're moving in. And also these things, these hardline stance that's keeping this trade war going. It says here that it says they just keep antagonizing both Russia and China. They just keep pushing them closer to one another. China said it wants closer ties with Russia's military. A sign that Moscow still has Beijing's support after the aborted Wagner mutiny. Chinese Defense Minister Lai Shangfu said in a meeting Monday with Nikolai Yermanov, which is Russian, Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Navy, with the joint efforts on both sides and relations between the two militaries will continue to deepen and solidify, constantly making new progress and reaching new levels. So Russia and China are really pulling in close together. And what's their goal? They're watching America over there, and they're saying to themselves, we don't have to get into a bare-knuckle fight. We can keep the gloves on. In other words, what I'm saying is they don't have to, they, or from their position, it would be stupid for them to go into a nuclear war because America's bristling with nuclear weapons. A better way of doing it is to bring us down financially. And what better way of doing that than integrate moles in our system everywhere that with a little bit of payola, the moles can sabotage our system over here. And believe me, going back a long time ago to McCarthyism, they worked very hard to try to root out that from the system at a certain time in America, and they were pretty successful. But that effort ended, and now it's spread through our system like a cancer over here. And what they mean to do is they mean to take us down financially. They're going to use our weak spot. They can see our Achilles heel is our financial system. And why nuke us? Why bother nuking us if they can nuke us financially? So what's coming next? A gold-backed currency. That's probably what's coming next. I shouldn't say probably, it's in the news right now. Less than 2 weeks, I guess, it's going to be released. So they're going to back their money with something of value. Now we know why the gold, all those years I've been on my show and telling you guys, hey, you know what? The gold's been going from west to east. I'll tell you again a month later, more gold's going east. Heading to China, they're smelting it into 1 kilogram bars and stacking it away. They were stacking it away for years. This has been the plan for a long time. To get enough gold packed away. And then they're going to say, when they get it all packed away and they get their new gold-backed currency and they got their big heaps of gold everywhere over there, they're going to say, hey, what you guys got? How can you back your currency with gold? Open up Fort Knox. Let's see what's in there. They creak the doors open. And all that's in there is a bunch of cobwebs. and a few bit of surplus from World War II, and maybe a little bit of gold, but it's gold that they confiscated back when the times were, back when they did that thing, back when they took everybody's gold away from them back in the 19, a long time ago. And from what I gather, it's orange colored gold. That's because it's mixed with copper. That's probably all that's in there. Probably very little gold left in Fort Knox compared to what the Chinese and Russia has accumulated. I've heard that Russia has accumulated 20,000 tons, and China's accumulating maybe as much as 24,000 tons. It's supposed to have 7,000 tons in Fort Knox. Supposed to. But there might not even be 1,000 tons in there. Might be considerably less. You just don't know what's in there. They haven't done an audit. And when they do an audit, then we'll say, okay, we believe you. But they don't ever do an audit. Anyway. So what's going on is they got a plan. Yeah, they got a plan. They're going to take us down financially. And so it's probably a 1-2 punch. It's probably okay. They release a gold-backed currency. They get the world using it really good. Everybody starts to use it. Everybody wants to use it over in the East. They're all trading with real gold and stuff. And when it's really adopted in there, then China releases the hounds. You know what I mean by that? They got almost $1 trillion in U.S. treasuries. They just dumped them at that point. Once they get everything set up. They get the setup in place first, and then they dump the treasuries. Almost $1 trillion worth. All at once. Pow. Take that. That's the second punch, And down we go for the count. Sad to say, but in this kind of a world that we have now, if you destroy somebody financially, you've also destroyed them militarily. I think it's actually always been that way, So anyway, guys, let's move on. Let's talk about the silver price today. Now, I've been saying this for a very long time, and I believe we're almost to the point where it's going to happen. Is when silver's at its lowest ebb, and they're going to manipulate it so that that's true. They're going to manipulate the spot price down. They're going to snatch it all up at once at a perfect time. They're timing it. They want to get it at the cheapest price. Rich people out there, really, really stinking rich people, they are cheap. They want to make maximum profits, and they only want to pay as little as possible. Buy low, sell high. The lower, the better. So I'm expecting at a certain point, why do you think which one of these really billionaires could corner the silver market? Why do you think they're not doing it? They're waiting for something. They're going to scoop it all up, all what's left of the physical. When at the timing is just right. That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting to scoop it all up. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be an instantaneous sort of thing. 1 hour it's there, an hour later it's all gone. When they do it, they probably got all set. They all know that all the really rich people, they all know when to do it. They're going to grab it all up, and there's going to be no silver left for anybody else in the world, not even for industry. And then the government's probably going to panic and say, "Oh, we got to have silver. We can't make bombs without silver, of course. How can we blow the people up? If we can't make bombs, we got to have silver, so what we got to do, we got to rob the silver from everybody." And they'll probably maybe try to do something like they did back. They'll probably try to take it away from everybody. Maybe, I don't know. Depends on what country you're in. I do know that they're the most savage criminals that there ever was. is the ones who, honest to God, the things that they have done. If people in the regular world do stuff like that, they end up in prison for the rest of their life. But these guys are able to do it, and they're held on high esteem for doing it. Anyway, it's a crippled society, a crippled world we live in. Cryptocurrency today, what we're looking at in price is 30,270. Oh, I forgot gold. I can't forget gold. Gold today is 1921 today. Now cryptocurrency. Bitcoin 30,322. Ethereum is 1870. XRP's at 47.2 cents. So it's holding its own. Dow Jones Industrial Average today is up 146 points at 33,881. Taking a look at crude oil is at 73.76. So crude oil's been creeping up. It's not only past the $70 mark, it's up to 73.76. It's on its way to 80. I hate to think what the price will be at the pumps. You know, I'm going to tell you guys, it was like this at one time, you know. At one time, when the crude oil price was, say, $73 like it is now, the price at the pump was only half of what it is now. I would say that these, just my estimation, I would say that these refiners are raking everybody over the coals. The refiners. Because the crude oil per barrel price is what they pay. And the percentage of what you pay at the pumps for gasoline, that percentage that they make in profit is went way the heck up. They have taken big time advantage over fluctuations and different things. They're getting a lot more money now for refining. Bond prices today we got a mixed bag. Long end's rising. U.S. 30 years rising. It's up 2.3 basis points at 40.4%, 0.05. And the U.S. 10 year fell almost a little bit over half a basis point at 4.04. And taking a look at the U.S. dollar index today, we're at 102.28 and going along sideways. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.